David's case was a very dramatic case for me.
Dr. Lutz was on emergency duty that night. Professor Dinstel is the director of coronary care.
He was brought here by the ambulance to the clinic, and on the journey to the clinic he suffered from ventricular fibrillation.
Ventricular fibrillation means that the heart is standing still and no circulation is in the brain.
After 3 failed attempts, Dr. Lutz made one final effort to shock David's stalled heart into life.
All together in the ambulance and here during resuscitation, I would say he was for about 30 minutes between life and death.
When his heartbeat was restored, David was admitted to intensive care. He was in a deep coma. His brain had been starved of oxygen for a remarkable 30 minutes. 5 minutes is usually considered sufficient to cause brain death. The doctors who were treating him assumed that David would be a vegetable for the rest of his life.
He had a damage of the brain that was very severe. We call it apathic syndrome, where the whole cortex of the brain is damaged. And all the neurologists that saw him said, oh, this patient hasn't any chance.
But they were wrong. 2 weeks after he had been admitted here, David recovered consciousness, but he was blind, paralyzed, and unable to speak. In this state, he was flown back to England, where something remarkable happened. With a determination that astonished his family and the medical staff at his local hospital, David began to recover his faculties.
Right. Right hand.
Everything had to be relearnt from scratch.
Well done. You've got to try and pinch it between left and thumb and finger. Okay?
So, what's that?
I left him when he was brought to Great Britain without any hope that he will recover, because his brain was in such a bad condition. But after 2 or 3 months, I received a postcard from his father. David is now working and walking and speaking, and so it was such a surprise for me that I tell my students and my co-workers they should never believe that they can judge what happened with the brain in such a state. And this is for me an example, a very important example in my whole life.
The first clue to David's remarkable recovery emerged as he laboriously pieced together a personal testimony. He claimed to have a distinct memory of a journey into another world and another existence during those 30 minutes when he was clinically dead.
When I died, the first experience was seeing a marvellous light. A light but not a light that was a spiritual light that was transforming. When it had enveloped you, you were enveloped in love. I was changed, and I felt renewed completely. And then I had that marvellous, one of the best experiences of my life, that was I got taken up in the arms of God and cuddled like a baby, a newborn baby, and it was a moment, you know, that you could live forever. But from that pure moment I knew that it didn't really matter if I came back or was to carry on. Everything was right. Everything was as it should be.